Conspiracy.
Dogman. Sasquatch.
Homunculus.
Alien races.
Anunnaki.
Corey Feldman.
Ghost ass. That's cool.
Poltergeist. Spirit summoning. Magicians are demons.
Anunnaki. Close the door,
Close the door! What is the moon? Cover-ups. MK Ultra. Shadow people. Disagreements.
Quiet, I'm trying to say words with my mouth.
Vampire.
Well, hello. Welcome to Beliefful. I'm Chris.
I'm John.
And I'm Jeremy. We got Harry Jeremy today. Harry Scare Me Jeremy.
Yes. Forgot I attempted a Halloween costume. Got part way.
You did a terrible job of attempting.
Well, look at you. What are you wearing?
You're the Michael Jackson of Halloween costume.
Just a glove?
just
a hairy glove.
Just the gloves.
I had a whole thing. I had.
Was that supposed to be a Bigfoot or something?
No, well, it used to be my werewolf costume. It was just like fur that's like rubber banded around. It used to be like a little carpet. And then I had like an extra little fur puff that I would stick out my little craw, come up my neck here.
Your craw.
Your craw.
And I would use little rubber bands to make my ears pointy. But that wouldn't really do much
Everyone
right now.
can imagine.
And also I'm kind of balding, so it's weird to have like a very hairy werewolf that doesn't have like a wig.
Anyway, your hairy arms Jer today.
Yeah, so this is as far as I got.
But Jeremy's dressed up because today it happened on Halloween.
Welcome to Fright Night.
That's right. Glad we're getting to do this, John, because I think you were just as sad as I was that we didn't get to do it last year.
I don't remember last year.
Because we didn't do it. We missed it.
I just don't remember if we did it or not. Why did we not? What was I home? Was I home? Was I home?
Were you Texas or Ohio?
You were down there. You were in Texas.
No, I thought I left like mid-October. I think I was home.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah.
Anyways, this is not relevant to the show, but
No.
we are doing it this year is all that matters.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, so we have some pretty excellent stories from listeners that submitted their experiences that happened on or very near Halloween.
Yeah, we're going to get you guys in the ghouly mood if you're ready to settle in.
We gonna scratch that itch.
Yes. We're going to scratch it
Yes.
with hairy hands.
Give me an Art Bell yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Anything you guys want anything to say before we dive right in?
Yeah, I want to say, so I love Halloween. I'm sure a lot of you guys do out there too. And I feel like we didn't really get to celebrate it last year. It came and went, flew by. So we're going to get you in that spirit today.
Should I tell my spooky dream real quick?
Yeah, that could set the mood for us.
It's pretty scary.
Everyone loves to hear dreams.
Yeah, I'll make it short. So I woke up in a room with one of my closest friends. It was this big tan room. You might actually be listening to this. And carpeted. The whole room was carpeted. This big tan room. There's nothing in it except this buzzing hum sound, like low-grade buzzing hum in the background.
Weird.
And we both knew that we were there forever and we couldn't die. There was nothing in the room.
Ugh.
Oh, really?
Yuck.
It was just the most helpless. Like it was just awful.
It's an eternity of
Nightmare.
what color was the room?
Tan.
Tan. Oh,
The whole thing was carpet and tan.
eternity of tan. The beige forever.
It was like really clean but dirty at the same time. It's hard to explain, but just the feeling of knowing that it's a weird feeling to know you're at the beginning of something that never ends, and
yeah.
what made it even worse was that weird buzzing hum sound. Like that never went away.
You could never turn it off.
Was that something
No.
you were experiencing in the real world that was being adapted?
I don't think
in your
so.
brain?
Well, I mean, I have basically a giant. My room is very strange. I have an air purifier running, a fan, the sound of white noise,
That might have
and
been it.
earplugs in, and it's loud too. The reason I do that is because it's so loud outside my window
Oh,
a lot
right.
of
Yeah.
times, and like I wake up to anything. So, but it's weird. Like if you were to walk in my room, and be like, "This guy, is he a vampire? Like, what does he need all this stuff for?" Vampires are known to use white noise to sleep.
My our friend Pat made a funny comment the other day because he was telling someone about traveling with us, and I was complaining about his snoring. And he's like, traveling with you guys is very bizarre because I was trying to sleep the other night. I woke up to, and then its guts were removed as the cow lay in the field. Just like we were watching.
The
I think like it was
exsanguinated.
yeah. I think it was probably Strange Harvest, Linda Molten
How
House.
you listen? How do you listen to things while you're sleeping?
I used to really enjoy
Keeps the
putting
thoughts
on
out.
spooky stories to fall asleep to, but I'm getting to a point where it's I think becoming a little invasive into my psyche. So I want to go back to the last unicorn.
Yeah, like I will, every time I fall asleep, anything like that, I just wake up after I go to sleep, like almost immediately. Like it wakes me up.
Well, I always have a storm playing at the same time. So I kind of keep the volume low so I can barely make out the words and slowly drift away. You know what I mean? So it's mostly like a white noise kind of thing with a little bit of people talking because I don't like to feel alone.
Obviously.
Who does?
I'm the opposite. I'm like deep alone.
Deep Alone.
Like I can't get more alone.
That is a great autobiography title. Deep Alone with John Parfit.
Anyways, let's jump into the stories.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Yeah, some of these stories are super creepy. Some of these stories I think I've selected just because it just gets you there. It gets you to Halloween. Perfect Halloween vibe.
So they're not actually on Halloween?
No, they are. But I mean, some are like, we'll get to them. When we get to them, I'll kind of set them up that particular way. But some are more vibe than like, oh, this, ghost crawled through my nose and woke my brother up in the night. And it was very real.
Weird.
It's like some are like,
I hate it when that happens.
child nostalgia.
Nose possession.
Some are child nostalgia, like looking back, like, did we see what we think we saw? But it kind of becomes this legend as you get older. And it happened on Halloween. So whether it was or not, I think a couple of these stories I feel like have that perfect vibe, even if they're not like, caught red-handed as a disembodied hand type deal. Oh, like this guy.
Is that the Hulk?
Oh, yeah. No.
It's a disembodied hand.
Yeah, we've got this at the Halloween store because
It's a big hand.
Dude,
That's cool. Where'd you get that from?
it walks.
it's pretty sweet. Feels good too if you put it on your body.
Where'd you get that from?
That was at the, what's the Forever Halloween? Wait, what's it called? What's the Halloween pop-up?
The Halloween store?
What's it called, though? The one that, like, they made a movie, kind of a
Halloween
money
Express.
grab movie? Halloween Express or something?
Yeah.
They have some cool stuff there, but we grabbed that just because it was perfect for the show because we have all those green disembodied hand stories.
Yeah. So he'll be back.
That's great.
Hank the Hand, he'll be back.
I love you guys.
Aww. Love you too, John.
I knew that would get that response.
When it comes from the older brother, it's like sacred juice from the vine.
It's once a year and it happens on Halloween.
That's right. It's the only day he loves us.
I don't do it on Christmas.
I think it literally was. I was listening to an old expansion episode of Halloween we did, like Grim Games, and we were talking about that old VHS game. It was like a board game you played at night in the dark. Anyways, randomly, I was trying to set up that game, and you're like, I love you guys. And that was Halloween. So you're right. It's like a yearly.
That's so weird.
Do you have it on your calendar? Like, tell brothers you love them today.
Anyway, let's do a story.
All right, let's do it. What's our first one here?
Oh, this one's fun.
Should we head down to the basement, Chris, for our first story?
Yes, let's do that. Basement is a creepy place to exist. I have actually another basement story coming up.
It's a creepy place to exist.
Well, there's a story coming up with someone who is living in their basement, and it just reminded me of John's experiences. Well, he lived in our family's basement.
Many moons ago.
Yes, but
Fridge monster.
He lived in the fridge.
is this one in the basement, sure? Is that what you asked that?
Yeah. You said basement seance, right? Or was it basement feline?
That was a different story, so that setup doesn't work.
Let's get out of the basement for this one, Chris.
All right, yeah, let's get out of the basement.
Threw you off your game.
Okay, this story is pretty fascinating. This one is a great kind of, what do you call it when you are taught, when you teaches a lesson?
Moral.
This is a great moral story of, what maybe to consider doing and not doing around Halloween time. You know what? Let's just play the story.
Okay,
we get set up for this one, but I can always drop in a better setup. All right, this next story is a pretty fascinating case. And although it didn't happen on the eve of Halloween, it was the unusual traditions of the autumnal season that left strange, meandering manifestations in Susan's home the weeks afterward. This story takes place in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada in 2005. This is called Seance Leftovers.
This story occurred about 10 years ago in 2015, and I believe it was a result of an event that happened on or very close to Halloween. In 2005, we had a Halloween party, as has been tradition for years. I like to invite psychics to my Halloween party, and then arrange for appointments for my party guests to visit with the psychics, who I have stationed in rooms apart from the main party. My husband has never really been a fan of having psychics or mediums in the house, as he has always had many experiences over his lifetime, and he feels it brings in spirits if they don't properly closed the door. He has indulged me and put up with the psychics and the, quote, fallout. This particular Halloween, I invited a woman and her husband who had recently lost their teenage son in very tragic circumstances, a murder. They were interested in making contact with him to help figure out exactly what happened that night. They were currently fighting for justice to convict his killers. The night itself was a great success. However, the couple who had lost their son came down from their visit with the psychic very visibly shook up. They said they did make contact, and they gave no details about it, but were very emotional and left the party shortly after. I never did find out the details of their visit. A few days to a week later, things began to occur in our house, as they often have in early November after a party with psychics present. My husband began hearing someone walking up and down our stairs at night. I sleep very quickly and soundly, but would wake up to him lying awake, and when I asked him why, he would say, "Just listening to something go up and down the stairs again." Then one night, it got very strange. I was asleep when I suddenly woke up to my stepdaughter Jackie standing by his side of the bed. I heard my husband tell her, "It was just a dream, go back to bed." And she turned and left. I turned over and closed my eyes. A second later, she was jumping into our bed. This was unusual because my husband rarely let her sleep with us. He always got her to go back to her bed. This time, however, I noticed he let her in right away. I didn't say anything, I just went back to sleep. The next morning, after my stepdaughter Jackie was out of the room, my husband was very eager to tell me exactly what had happened. He was quite distressed. This is what happened. He had woken up to see Jackie standing in the hall outside our door. We have double doors to our bedroom, and we slept with one of them open. My husband saw the black silhouette of her standing in the door, but she was also holding the hand of an adult-sized figure who was with her that was also just a black silhouette. My husband assumed it was me until he looked over and saw me asleep in the bed beside him. He sat up, and the figure stepped to the side behind the closed second door. Jackie ran in and told him, "Something won't let me sleep. It keeps saying, 'Hello, hello,' but it's like in my head, in my imagination." And at this point, he said she kept tapping her head. He was just shaken up due to seeing the figure, but he stayed calm and told her, "It was just a dream. Go back to bed." This is just after I woke up, and I heard him say this. She nodded and turned to go back to bed. My husband stayed sitting up in bed and watched her silhouette exit our room and start to round the corner in the hall to go to her room. Then, as she rounded the corner, he saw a black figure run past her from down the hall, from her room, and around the corner towards him. She immediately, either seeing or sensing it, turned and ran back to our room. She was terrified, and so was my husband. He just lifted the covers and let her jump in our bed. That is when I noticed that he had let her in. She stayed with us for the rest of that night. He noticed nothing else that night. For the rest of that November, he continued to hear footsteps on our stairs. And we would be woken up in the middle of the night by an overpowering smell of wood smoke. It would wake us from sleep, and we would run around and try to find where it was coming from. It definitely was not from outside, which was the first place that we checked, or from our vents to the furnace. It would suddenly disappear in minutes, like it was never there. This happened on and off for years, and not always just in November. I do not know if the figure we saw that night was the spirit of my friend's son, somehow trapped in our house from the contact at the Halloween party, or something else. I will write again about other things that have happened. I believe, and so does my husband, that activity we experience is due to him, and possibly my stepdaughter. Since she has moved out, activity is slowed down, but still occurs. We also have caught activity on our security cameras, but much less now than it is just with the two of us. Thanks for reading this, and I love your podcast. You guys have some of the most interesting concepts and stories. I think the shadow-stealing gnomes are my favorite. Keep up the spooky work. Love from Canada, Susan.
Thank you.
It's a lot of activity.
Yeah. She didn't mention if it was like a dark presence, other than, it was a shadow figure.
Yeah, I think she was under the impression that this might have been the spirit of her.
No, I got that part. But she's not sure.
Yeah.
And that's why I was wondering what it felt like. There was feelings.
Like a darkness.
Because sometimes I have like mixed feelings about that, when we've talked about this before, but when you unlock that, it's kind of like moth to a flame type situation.
Exactly.
You're not always exactly sure what's
waiting in the wings to come out.
Either is if it was him or not when the psychic had that conversation, or it brought others in.
Yeah.
Right.
Not to alarm you, but I don't know. I don't know what the feeling is, with this phenomena.
Well, we've talked about it all the time. I think there is definitely, you're rolling the dice a little bit anytime you have a sort of,
an opening,
any sort of seance, summoning,
conjuring.
You never know what might be something that's not having the best intentions, that's waiting in the wings to get a little action in on the communication.
I get the husband's concern about maybe not, honey. Maybe we don't want to open doors to the other side.
Yeah.
Especially on Halloween.
At least do it in the garage, so it's not in the house.
Keep the ghost in the garage. Yeah.
A pretty in-depth encounter, though.
I want to know what the experience was of the parents that lost their son. I mean, like what
the psychic said. That communication was. Yeah.
But they didn't know.
Pretty heavy.
Yeah, for sure. I would want to do the same thing. If I lost a child like that, I would be wanting to go to a psychic too and
find
any way I could to
want that contact,
figure out what happened and make contact. So
yeah, I think there's the spiritual residue, again, performing certain ceremonies or rituals, things like that. I think it's definitely like, I can see the appeal, and I'm still curious. I kind of want to try that at some point. But there definitely is, like, I always wonder, like, what sort of leftovers. Again, this is called Seance leftovers because that's kind of what it seems like they got, was something left over in the following days after Halloween.
In the ether.
Yeah. Interesting, though.
Yeah.
Holding the hand of the child, walking up to the door. I hope it was a good thing.
Terrifying.
I hope it was just maybe someone looking for help.
There was a lot of stuff we didn't even talk about in the story that was pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Really would be creeped out if I was the dad that saw that.
Dude, and then like looking over and seeing that your wife is still in bed and not the one holding the hand.
It's straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what was that?
We'll have to ask them if they're planning on doing another seance next year. Seems to be a tradition.
For sure.
Thanks for sharing. Good story.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Susan.
Well, that's just the first of, we can almost call this episode Invasion of the Black Silhouettes, which doesn't sound very creepy, but black shadow, shadow people, like we've talked about many times. Mm-hmm. In the past, and they get a little stale after a while when you read the stories and you haven't had the experience, but actually thinking about it in my mind, the terror that would bring in some situations.
Yeah.
But we've got another one later, so that'll be interesting kind of tie-in. But outdoors, an outdoor shadow.
Yeah. All right, this next one's just a fun little eerie experience that one of our listeners had that I thought was just kind of perfect for a more low-key Halloween kind of spooky vibe. And people like dogs, and this one involves a dog, so we're including it.
Okay.
I know John's a big dog guy.
We all like dogs.
So this one's just like an eerie kind of get you in the mood story, that real Halloween feel. A story of something that's just kind of a little off.
Yes.
And this time of year when the veil begins to thin, what sort of things come out from the woodline?
Yes.
Through the forest and into your backyard, perhaps. Well, for Susan, in October of 2014, an oddly familiar, furry sort of fiend was not all it seemed to be. This comes from Susan. This happened in Denver, Colorado, and this is called Doppleweenie.
It happened in 2014. I was renting a walkout basement apartment in Denver, Colorado. I worked the swing shift and got home at 12:30 a.m. This was mid-October. I had a little doxy, Stella. The first thing I did was turn on the outside garden lights, fenced-in yard, to let her do her business. She was usually very quick, but after nearly 10 minutes, she failed to return. I went outside and started calling her name. In the far corner of the yard, I saw Stella, hunched over, completely still. She had some small, dead animal in her mouth. I yelled, "Stella, no! Drop it!" No response. Just then, the real Stella trotted around the side of the house, right past this macabre tableau and into the house. I looked at this thing, which was clearly not Stella. It stood, frozen, but I noticed its eyes were directly on mine. I had a terrible feeling of dread, hard to explain. I hastily shut and locked the sliding glass door behind us. After a few moments, I got up the courage to part the blinds and peek outside. It was still there, completely motionless, but its eyes were glowing. I shut the blinds and went to bed. I didn't sleep that night. One of the creepiest things I have ever experienced.
Pretty unsettling.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so weird, man. Total flashback. Do you guys remember this at all? Chris, maybe you remember this more.
I remember everything.
Because we were in the same grade. But around third grade,
You guys are in the same grade. Weird.
Chris was held back.
It'd be sad if I was held back and we were identical twins. Not getting out of that mockery.
Anyway, third grade, Chris, do you remember?
Yeah.
Well, do you remember specifically, actually, the elementary school is near our, where Chris and I currently live. Old, creepy elementary school.
We've come far.
And one day, this old black dog appeared, Scruffy.
Oh, our dog.
And he followed us
The one
home.
we adopted, yeah.
And we just kind of took him in, and he had relations with our current golden retriever, and eventually our dad kicked him out. But
Poor Scruff.
But he was a really cool dog, really sweet dog. And I remember specifically, like, totally forgot about this memory, but it was around Halloween, and I remember playing on it wasn't at the school. It was at our house, wherever we were, school or our house. I remember playing with Scruffy.
I remember this now.
He went away, and then he reappeared further down the yard, near the road.
Same white tuft of hair.
Same white tuft of hair,
yeah.
black whatever. And then we're like, "Oh, Scruffy, how'd he get up there?" And he just was kind of looking at us, waiting for us to accept him in. And then the real Scruffy came around the corner.
Yeah.
And I remember being just
Weirded
this
out.
weird sense of something is wrong.
I totally forgot about that.
That's so weird because I totally forgot about that too. And until hearing Susan's story,
Yeah.
just popped back up in my mind. And that was around Halloween, probably because my head was in that space around
Yeah.
Halloween that I just thought it was always creepy.
Or maybe it was a real life animal mimic trying to steal your soul.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, what could that be?
Yeah.
Like a glitch in the Matrix? I mean,
Yeah.
what phenomena is that?
Right. If it was paranormal and
Definitely a mimicker of something. What was the
Yeah.
purpose? Just to freak her out?
Well, it's funny. So she titled this Doppleweenie, which makes sense because Doppelganger,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny because Dachshund is a German dog. So Doppelweenie kind of works there. But there's also an Irish, which you guys might remember this. We talked about it before, but it's called a fetch. Have you heard of a fetch?
Oh, yeah.
A fetch is basically a spectral double or apparition of a living being, usually human. But it works well with the name fetch dog. But yeah, what is, John, to answer your question, what would be the purpose? I don't know. I mean, it definitely seems like if indeed this
For the
was a
fun
real,
of it.
For the fun of it.
yeah,
The trick or treat.
Just to scare.
it just reminds me of all the lure stuff we talk about with people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this reminds me of the voices and stuff in the woods that mimic.
Yeah, exactly.
But it definitely has a spin on it with the dog.
Yeah.
Something wanted to be let in.
It's glowing eyes.
Just ominous. I mean, definitely, he's not doing a good job if he's trying to lure her out there because he's just a mimic dog holding something dead in its mouth. It's a very ominous vision.
Maybe it's just a fear eater. Just scaring her to feed.
A lot of things doing that around this time of year.
That's true.
A lot of it's out there.
We do it ourselves this time of year. It is the
True.
fun.
But we feed for fun. Or we make fun to feed on. Okay.
Huh?
I don't know.
Huh?
We make fear that's fun to feed on.
Anyway,
Yeah, but they don't like that kind of fear. That's not genuine terror.
They want terror.
They don't want a fear and then a giggle.
They want you not sleeping at night
Yeah,
with the blanket pulled over your head.
exactly. Keep
That kind of fear.
keep milking it. Keep pawing on the little
Sucking on the nipple of fear.
pawn on the fear sack. Just like that.
Sucking it up.
Well, we won't let them starve those ghouls.
We have fun creepy, not terror creepy.
That's right.
They hate fun creepy. They hate it.
I think it's a mockery of what they do.
They can't feed off that.
Mm-mm.
It's not tasty enough.
No, it's a little Trojan horse for them.
We won't give them the real terror feeding.
That's right.
That's right.
Speaking of which, are we ready for another horror-filled tale?
Let's do it.
Is it fun?
Yeah, in a way. It's got a cat.
We're not trying to feed them.
Cats are fun. No, this is a good one. This one's definitely creepy, but it's not, you're not going to have an existential crisis after you hear it. I don't think.
I don't think that's possible. In the belief hole.
Hopefully not.
Well, spook us out, Chris.
I don't know. There's a couple later in this episode we're going to get to that are pretty
There are a
dark.
couple pretty freaky dark
All right.
tales.
Okay, so this next story, we're going to go down to the consummate breeding ground for the truly bizarre bumps in the night. Of course, I'm talking about the basement. John knows this life well, living in the basement for a time and what strange things might go on down there. So in our stories happened on Halloween night, where our listener was drawn out from her room to find something, another familiar form. This time when I say familiar, I mean it, and you'll understand what I mean here in a moment. This happened in 2004 or 2005 in the middle of the night in Independence, Missouri. Halloween. This is called Basement Feline Familiar. When I was a teenager, I lived in the basement of a one-story house located in a suburban neighborhood. My room was in the basement, walled off from a front room just outside. One side of the wall wasn't solid. It was made of slats you could still peek through. In the family room outside my bedroom, we would watch TV during the summers since it was cooler down there, and we had living room furniture set up for that reason. Often, strange occurrences of paranormal activity would happen. But this following encounter is still one I think about to this day because there is really just no explanation. It was a crisp night during the month of October in the fall of 2004 or 2005. It may have been right before or after Halloween, but it was during the week of the holiday. During this time in my life, I was an insomniac and would stay up late at night and into the morning. But this night, I was laying in bed doing my best to actually fall asleep. Mind you, nobody else in the house was awake, and there were no other sounds in the house at the time. I'm laying in bed when I begin to hear a creaking back and forth. I wondered if someone had come downstairs, but I knew that nobody had because the stairs to my basement were notoriously loud and creaky. I laid in bed, hearing this creaking as it became louder and faster. At first, I thought that it could possibly be the wind, but it was too loud and aggressive to shrug off. I was a teenage girl, and honestly, for the most part, a coward. But I thought maybe, if I could see what the commotion was, I would end up with a logical explanation. I peeked through one of the slanted slats in the wall, and I saw movement, but couldn't get a full view. So I slowly opened my door and stepped out and around the corner to see a lazy boy recliner aggressively rocking back and forth, as if someone was in it. But what immediately caught my attention were the biggest yellow eyes I'd ever seen, and they were filled with anger. A huge black cat laid on the top of this rocking recliner. The black cat did not belong to me. All the while, the recliner is rocking so hard that if it were a real cat, it would have jumped off. The cat's eyes were bigger than anything I'd seen in my life. They were filled with a deep yellow and snake black pupils. As I stared at the scene, the cat looked into my eyes and opened its mouth. It let out howls and hisses, and I was frozen in place. I looked at the window behind it. It was a small window we always kept locked and closed, and it was closed as it always was.
My heart felt like it was sinking into my stomach, as I quickly realized there was no way this cat could get into my home. We kept our doors locked, our windows closed, and there were no entrances into the house, such as holes in the wall or anything like that. I stared at the cat for an unreasonable amount of time, and the longer I looked, the more I thought that it did not look like any cat I had seen in the neighborhood or in my life. As an avid cat lover and an owner of black cats myself, this is not something that would usually frighten me. I'm the first to see a cat and get excited, but this one just gave off a terrible energy. The eyes were too big. The mouth was off. It was very large, and I couldn't see its feet. It laid like a cat loafing and relaxing would, but it wasn't relaxed. The ears went back, but up. Suddenly, my mother's Pomeranian named Samson came down the stairs and stopped right beside me and started barking at the cat, which brought me back to reality and snapped me out of staring into the cat's eyes. The chair rocked, the dog barked, and the cat hissed. It was all overwhelming, and not to mention loud, but nobody woke up or came downstairs to see what the commotion was about. I broke my eye contact, and eventually the lack of sleep caught up with me, and I must have passed out. The next morning, I opened my door slowly and peeked at the lazy boy, and it was still. No cat, no actual evidence that it had ever been there. I went to the window and tried it, and it was locked. I looked at the lazy boy, and there was no cat here. I never told my parents about this for fear of them thinking I was crazy or on drugs. I was completely sober and absolutely certain I was awake and that this was not a dream. The dog saw it too, even though he couldn't vouch for me because he can't talk. The terror I felt inside was heavier than anything I could ever have nightmares about. I never saw the cat again, and that chair never moved like it did that night, even when I tried to rock it myself. Other creepy things occurred in that basement, but this one stumps me. Thank you. Black cats on Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of perfect for Halloween. I mean, it's funny to me because she keeps talking about how uncat-like this cat was, but to me, I think the most surreal aspect of it would be that the recliner is rocking back and forth on its own violently. That would be a tell.
Yeah, something supernatural going on. It would seem.
But yeah, black cat fitting for Halloween. She never saw it again, so that's a plus apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because there were no, you think of black cats being associated with familiars, right?
Right.
Witchcraft. And there weren't witch trials per se in the Ozarks around Missouri area, but there's a long history of belief, apparently, in actual witches. Witch doctors and witch masters, they used to call them. A lot of witchery that they believed used to go on, and counter witching.
Witching.
Where they would craft spells back at those who crafted against them.
Kind of like hex signs and stuff?
Yeah, and in that documentation, and there's a research I can link in the show notes, but essentially goes into, of course, those beliefs as well as specifically the familiarizing or the manifesting of the black cat as a sign of the witch. So maybe it's a lingering presence.
I mean, who knows what it was, but I think even just reminds me, there was a really good, I was never able to find it, but there was a really good Art Bell Ghost to Ghost story that someone called in about where there was this dog entity, this evil sort of dog entity that appears in someone's basement. It just reminds me of that sort of something about sentient dark animals that exude a sort of evil presence that is extra icky to me, extra creepy. But yeah, interesting story, unique for sure.
Yeah, thanks for sending that in.
Absolutely.
If you've had a cat recliner incident in your home, call 1-800-BELIEVE who believes you, and we will investigate.
Hey everybody, if you guys are looking for more creepy this Halloween season, may I suggest to you an amazing show hosted by our friends Allie and Nat called Let's Get Haunted. Similar to our show, it's a paranormal comedy type podcast that's guaranteed to make you laugh as much as it's going to scare the crap out of you. Billed as the only investigative journalist podcast about shit that may or may not have ever happened in the first place. Every week, Allie and Nat rotate telling each other frightening supernatural tales from around the world. Let's Get Haunted prides itself on digging deep into niche topics to unearth new information you've probably never heard before. Like the time Nat went on the dark web to crack a conspiracy. Or the time Allie got a scuba diver to go down to a famous haunted shipwreck. Each of their episodes begins with Personal Hauntings, a segment dedicated to swapping hilarious anecdotes about strange things happening in each host's personal life that week. Just like us, Nat and Allie never shy away from oversharing the more outrageous events in their lives, like the time Allie hunted down a credit card thief. Or the time Nat went to jail. Often more haunted than the episode topics at hand, these intros have quickly become fan favorites. Every 5 of their episodes are dedicated to reading paranormal experiences submitted by listeners, aka the Haunties. Past listener stories have included creepy meetings with doppelgangers, poltergeist hauntings, cryptid encounters, and even alien abductions. Above all, Let's Get Haunted seeks to find the levity in any situation and to remind their audience that it's perfectly normal to feel a little paranormal.
Yes!
So what are you waiting for? Go get haunted with Nat and Allie every Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Well, let's stay in the basement. This takes me to maybe one of the most interesting stories we've had submitted in a long time. It happened to be near Halloween. And the person submitting the story doesn't believe that the location of this being a house next to the cemetery has anything to do with the occurrences going on there, but I think there might be some connection.
You be the judge.
But you be the judge. This is really interesting. You know, we talk about the veil thinning, and we talk about this world and the next. What do we really know about how it operates? And what do we know about the beings that might be in control of said veil slippages? Are there guardians to keep the veil from opening when it's not supposed to? This is an interesting story. This happened to Greta Davoli, and it kind of spans the 1970s. And then again, there's an occurrence that really brings it home in 2009. And this happened in Holden, Maine, in a house, of course, by the cemetery. This is called Guardians of the Cellar.
My former brother-in-law was a very conservative person who didn't believe in anything paranormal, but he did have one experience that he said always made him wonder. He grew up in a farmhouse in Holden, Maine, a very rural, desolate area, with the family house directly across from a small cemetery in thick ash and pine woods. The cemetery has nothing to do with his experience, but it did help to create a very eerie setting. As a child in that house, he dreamed several times that he was in bed and 2 angels, both male, one holding a sword and the other a flail, which is a medieval ball with spikes attached to a stick, were standing on either side of the bed. In the dream, something began pulling on the bed, trying to drag it and him toward the cellar across the hall. As the unseen force pulled at the bed, the 2 angels fought to hold on to it. My brother-in-law always woke up frightened and strangely exhausted from the dream. Well, years later, he is a man in his 60s with a wife and 2 young adult sons. He invited us to spend the weekend at his family home. It was early October, not quite Halloween, but the spooky season vibe was in the air. His parents had both passed at the time, and he was fixing the house up and getting ready for it to sell. My husband and young son and I thought it would be a nice weekend helping to work on the house and having some wholesome family time together, etc. Friday and Saturday came and went, and on Sunday morning, my son, who was 10 at the time, came into the kitchen and joined the rest of us for breakfast. That was when he told us about a dream he had had the previous night. You guessed it. It was the same dream my brother-in-law had all those years ago. The bed being pulled by an unseen force toward the cellar. 2 angels on either side of the bed trying to hold it back. I swear that my son had never heard of this dream before. It was absolutely mind-boggling. I was intrigued, but my brother-in-law was very unsettled. The experience opened him up, and he told us a few more strange things that had also happened in that house. He was glad to sell it, he said. He had seen apparitions and heard voices and all kinds of things. But he had never told anyone because he hated the idea that things could not be logically explained. Well, that's my close to Halloween story. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoy your podcast. Thanks for all your hard work. Thank you.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sounds like a very specific, almost like gate to hell.
Well, does kind of sound like that.
Sounds like some sort of defending of a crossover point or something.
Yeah, with the angels.
Yeah. I mean, what are the chances of that? Someone having the same dream, 50 years later.
It's a very specific dream too. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Makes you wonder about and again, the cemetery, I think, I'm not saying that all cemeteries are haunted or any house next to a cemetery is going to have, spooky experiences that occur there. But at the same time, you hear stories about things being seen in the cemetery and you wonder about grief eaters and things that might, enjoy, it's a buffet, I'm sure, on certain occasions when there's funerals and things like that for certain things that enjoy the taste of people's sadness and fear, death, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So when you're living nearby a place like that, where it might be like a old country buffet for, fear eaters and stuff.
Old country buffet.
I can just see that being, definitely being a possibility. And there's something about that story that is very epic in my mind. It's very much like
Light versus dark.
You've got angel guardians, guarding this specific cellar. Like, why the cellar?
Kind of a cool image. It's very vivid in my mind right now.
Reminds me of, have you ever seen the movie The Sentinel? Mr. Jonathan?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Remember that scene in The Burbs when Ricky's like, you ever seen the movie The Sentinel, Mr. Peterson? It's about a gate to hell.
Did you ever see the movie The Sentinel, Mr. Peterson? It's about the old guy who owns the apartment, which is kind of like the gateway to hell.
No, I didn't see that.
Basically, the concept is like there's a gate
Excellent movie.
to hell under this like apartment building.
Oh,
And
sounds like
there's
a cool plot.
It's really cool. And there's one of the characters is like essentially a figure that has to
Kind of gets inducted into kind of monitoring it from other entities, like trying to open it up. The namesake of the film is the idea that someone is there, keep making sure that gate stays shut. That is the sentinel, the person who has to, it's like a traditional line of people that get tapped to keep that gate closed. And it's like in a Manhattan apartment building. It's a really cool movie.
Yeah, definitely recommend it, but it's very eerie.
Interesting.
Yeah, you dig it, John.
Yeah.
Wait, is it with Michael Douglas and Kirk?
Is it Kirk Douglas? Or it's from the 70s, I think.
I think there is a Douglas involved.
Oh, this is a newer one. I think there's another movie called The Sentinel, and that's like looks like an action movie.
Wait, is Jerry Dandridge in it? From The Fright Night? The actor plays Jerry Dandridge? Why do I feel like he's in it?
Let's see. It's got
Jerry Dandridge?
That's the thing. And then the neighbors that live there, John, some of them are like kind of in on the satanic stuff that's going on there. It's a really good movie. Good intrigue. The Sentinel with Michael Douglas. That is an action movie.
Anyway.
No, but the important thing here is, yes, John, Jerry Dandridge is in it. The guy from Vampire from Fright Night.
It's worth watching just for that.
It is. Chris Sarandon is his name.
Chris Rockins in it.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Anyway,
This would be a good remake.
it
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
if they don't destroy
If
it.
they did it well. Which
Yeah.
is tricky.
I mean, yeah, if it was done well, obviously. But it's just an interesting concept, especially like the city.
Kind of reminds me a bit
Yeah.
of, there's a recent movie, John, that you'd like if you hadn't seen it. It's called, I want to say it's like Apartment something. It's the girl from Ozarks was in it. And she plays like a dancer who's in this,
Yeah.
and there's like an occult circle in this, again, like Manhattan apartment building.
The Rosemary's Baby-esque.
Yeah, it's very Rosemary
vibe.
Baby-esque. Oh, Apartment 7A. That was it. Apartment 7A. Good movie. But yeah, another recommendation. Ding.
Interesting, yeah. Good Halloween movie for you. Pick it up.
What spooky movies have you guys seen? Let us know in the comments what spooky movies you've seen. Share the wisdom to your fellow belieflings in the hole here.
Yes. That'd be a fun episode to do sometime.
What's your Halloween recommendation, movie-wise?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
No, I'm talking to you guys.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's a good question.
I mean, there's so many good ones.
Yeah, it depends on what you want. Well, it depends on what you're in the mood for.
Have you seen any recent good scary movies?
Yeah, I mean, that's almost all I watch. I'm trying to think of like a good one. They're hard to come by these days, I feel like.
Yeah, they really are.
No, wait, I feel like I watched one. I've been really getting into like 70s horror movies, mostly to fall asleep to because they've got that nice pacing. But there's sometimes there's a really good one that you're like, oh, holy crap, that was a really good old movie. Now I can't think of one.
The Shining.
Have you heard of it?
Pretty good movie.
That's a great movie.
I started watching The Smile 2 again. Pretty creepy.
Can't watch it knowing the ending.
Why?
Is it because it was depressing or because
it's
just because you know
just
it
more
already?
that I know it already. And
Dude, it's such a, it's really well shot. It's very disturbing too.
yeah, it is. That's another reason I mean, the opening was one of the best openings of a horror movie I've seen in a long time.
The second one?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is. It's very shocking too.
Yeah. And it's just a
Like,
unique.
You're talking about the drug bust sort of?
Yeah, really unique idea. Like the whole reason why that guy's there in the first place is just, it's
Very clever.
No, it starts off with a bang for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I will say, we did actually see a movie in the theater. We saw Conjuring: Last Rites, specifically
Oh, yeah.
because we were.
I just watched
Hey,
it.
someone I thought that was pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah, a little long in the
I
tooth.
watched it from home for $20.
See, I got the full
I've been
theater
possessed by a
experience.
little child.
I watched it at home for $20.
Why? Why didn't you go out and watch it?
I wanted to watch a movie at home.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was good though.
Yeah. Especially for, I mean,
It's a little long, but I thought it was good.
yeah.
And I will say, there are people every time we mention the Warrens.
Yeah.
Because they have a very controversial allegations against them, which we might cover someday just to clear the air and talk
We'll
about
get to it eventually.
What is the allegations?
So, like, I guess just to do the
Just
cliff
in a
notes,
nutshell.
Yeah, essentially is there was a girl that lived with them for a while, and the accusation is that Ed Warren
Had illicit goings-ons.
yeah, and I think she was underage, and it was kind of like a Stockholm syndrome, kind of like take advantage of this person.
What?
And
Like sexually?
yeah, there's some arrangement, and that Lorraine knew about the arrangement, but like turned a
Allegedly.
blind eye. This is all alleged, but it's alleged
Oh.
by the person that did live with them. So like, there's the problem is like this person did live with them.
Do they have
and-
any motives to gain anything from it?
Oh, from like making a false allegation. Well,
Yeah.
that's the claim of the lawyers for like, I don't know if it's James Wan or the film. 'cause
Blumhouse or something. Not Blumhouse, I guess, but
the accusation is that she was put up to it by a competing production company or something that
I
was
think it was people that had left the film or something that were
something like that.
jealous or something. There's a whole like drama stuff behind it, but
But either way,
get into it one day.
we can't know, obviously, and we might
Yeah.
do a little dive on it. 'Cause I would like to do the Amityville Horror. There's a lot of controversial hauntings.
Seems kind of a weird behavior for someone that understands like the power of darkness, supposedly.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
I think-
they would allege
And
that
like
there's-
heaven and hell, you know.
Well, I think the allegation is that the people that really get upset by people enjoying the stories of the Warrens is that they think they're con artists and that they never believed in any of it. And it was all a fraud for 50
Right.
years or whatever. It's kind of hard to believe that you don't have any sort of,
Yeah.
I can get like self-rationalizing things or exaggerating things, even, unconsciously. But to live a whole life like that with someone, and
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we're not going into it
And
today.
to collect all that stuff, like, I mean, you'd
Yeah.
have to be a straight sociopath to do something
Yeah.
like that. Unless you just start believing your own nonsense,
right.
which isn't impossible, but that's not the vibe I got from them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And
It's hard.
people have done deep dives, and I'm sure people out there have heard a lot of those deep dives. So again, I don't have all the information.
Yeah,
Right
I know.
now, but
I'd like
it would
to
be-
believe that they're telling the truth.
Yeah, it would be something to look at sometime because I do want to cover some interesting things that came across about Amityville Horror that I think a lot of people know about.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to do like maybe some things you haven't heard about these very famous cases, and then get into a little bit of the accusations.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good Conjuring movie. The one where the boy gets like he tries to help that little boy, and he ends up getting possessed, and then he like murders his. That part's
Oh,
so
the
good.
devil made me do it.
He's like walking down the road after it. Yeah, that part. I mean, that was probably one of the
disturbing.
best scenes in the series. That whole like build up.
Yeah.
Creepy, man.
Either way,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all believe this stuff is real, whether or not
We wouldn't be doing the show if we didn't think there was
there's some
truth.
other things going on with the Warrens.
Yeah.
But anywho, speaking of
Yeah,
those
anyways.
realities,
Especially on Halloween.
all right, guys, we're going to take a quick little break.
See ya.
All right, guys, we'll see you in a minute. Hey guys, On this week's expansion members-only episode, we're going to be covering a topic that's in a different kind of category than we usually cover, the category of true crime. Now, in my search for Halloween mysteries, I came across a specific story, a story that seemed familiar, a story that might lead to a wide-reaching conspiracy of serial killers, otherwise known as the smiley-faced killers. We'll be covering some fascinating but pretty tragic events. But for those of you interested in this kind of subject, this particular story I feel like needs to be told. So join us in this week's expansion episode. And if you're not a member yet, you can sign up at beliefful.com and click on the big red Join the Expansion button, or click the QR code on the screen. And now, a clip from this week's expansion episode.
Access granted.
When 24-year-old William Hurley called his girlfriend the night of October 8th, 2009, all he wanted was to go home. The Navy veteran, who'd been attending a Boston Bruins home game, asked Claire Mahoney to pick him up early, explaining that he was tired from a long day of work as a greenskeeper. While on the phone with Mahoney, Hurley warned that his cell phone battery was low. When she asked for his exact location, someone in the background yelled, 99 Nashua Street, before the line went dead. Minutes later, Mahoney arrived at that address, but Hurley was nowhere to be found. 6 days later, his body was found in the Charles River. The cell phone from which he'd made that final call smashed nearby. Hurley's death was eventually ruled an undetermined drowning, with the police stating that they found no evidence of foul play. Yet people who were close to Hurley, including Claire Mahoney, have disputed these claims, pointing to his damaged cell phone, as well as injuries indicating blunt force trauma and a toxicology report that found high levels of GHB, commonly known as the date drug. But Hurley isn't the first college-aged male to have died under suspicious and hotly debated circumstances. More than a decade before Hurley disappeared in Boston, Fordham College senior Patrick McNeil vanished after stumbling out of a bar in 1997 on New York's Upper East Side. McNeil was missing for more than a month before his body was found floating in the East River. And his death was later declared, like Hurley's, to have been an undetermined drowning. But Kevin Gannon, one of the detectives who investigated McNeil's case, didn't agree with the official ruling on the 23-year-old's death and promised the deceased parents that he would find them answers. More than 20 years later, he's still trying. What is that? Pumpkin?
It's a pumpkin thing.
The morph pumpkin.
He's seen better days.
It's not lit up.
Yeah, I don't have batteries in there. Happy Halloween.
Halloween fail.
So prepared.
Number 19. Welcome back, guys.
Welcome.
Welcome back.
Hope you enjoyed your time on your break.
I've added a pumpkin for you out there.
I've added a pumpkin.
I've added my pumpkin for you.
Cool.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I saw a bunch of people carving pumpkins last night down at Auditorium Shores.
Oh, that's fun.
And it made me a little nostalgic.
Yeah.
You didn't get in there and carve some puppies?
Some puppies.
Just randomly sit down in a group of people.
That would be awesome.
Hey guys, thanks for the invite.
That's how you make true friends.
Just horn your way in there.
Yeah, you just casually stroll up and just plop down.
People love it when you do that.
People love when you make them uncomfortable.
Get your knife out. Sit next to a bunch of strangers with your serrated blade.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and it's Halloween freaking pizza party time, guys. So
Oh, they're back.
time to break out the cups.
Oh, yeah.
I still have those.
Yeah.
Part 2.
I got you and Chris. I couldn't get you and John because you were 22 hours away. But I'll cheers to you. We don't have, this is not a thing. We don't have to watch me pour soda
you're
water
fizzing.
in a cup. I'm just celebrating a little me time.
Let's do it.
To Halloween.
Here. Get your Dogman Beliefful mug in the merch store.
Thanks for spending it with us, guys.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
It's launching on Halloween?
A little before.
A day before?
No, not
Oh, I guess it is earlier, isn't it?
yeah, it's like a week from now.
Cool. That's perfect. Build up the spirit.
Okay.
Nexus point.
Before I take us into the darkness with this next short tale of intrigue, Jeremy, did you have any fun Halloween factoids for us? I know you were going to get some.
Oh, yeah. It's a little fun, tasty Halloween thought. Snacks, brain treats, if you will. Trick or brain treats. Did you know that there is a fear of Halloween that's recognized as a clinical condition called Samhainphobia?
No.
Yep.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. I mean, that's sad.
This isn't a believe it or not challenge the fact. It's, at least from what I read, that's the case. I just found that interesting. It makes sense.
I guess it makes sense if you were going to have a fear of a holiday. Halloween would be a candidate.
Yeah. I guess Easter's pretty freaky if you're not religious. It's kind of like giant bunnies.
Well, if you're not religious, then that's when you have the giant bunnies. So I don't think it matters.
So I always found it kind of spooky.
It doesn't, I don't see it on the AI overview.
What?
Oh, Samhainphobia?
Unless I'm spelling it wrong.
Let me double check my sources here. Hold on. Oh, that was filed under Jeremy's Lies.
Filed under Jeremy's Lies.
Miscategorized.
Yeah, it didn't sound very legit.
Right there next to Top Driver, Pizza Hut.
No, it's real.
No, it's real.
It's real.
It's real.
Hold on.
That sounds like a Jeremy made up.
It sounds like
thing.
I would have made it up for sure. Fear of Halloween. Fear of Halloween. Be prepared to be scared.
That's Cleveland Clinic. Oh, it's, Samhainphobia.
Boom.
Yeah. I mean, it's spelled like Sam Hain, John.
Well, that's how you spell Samhain.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I spelled it wrong.
And if the Cleveland Clinic says it's a thing, it's a thing.
The only prescription is candy corn. And more stories.
And tales of spooky things.
Candy corn, not the most popular Halloween candy, by the way, John, for factoid number 2.
Maybe because it's gross.
I bet you can guess what is, though.
Snickers?
Close. Think more decadent.
Cadbury egg?
People like their
Reese's
they like-
peanut butter
like
cups.
Their peanut butter. They squirm around in their peanut
Cadbury
butter
egg-
chocolate.
Reese's peanut butter?
Cadbury egg is Easter.
All right. We don't need to get serious about it.
Reese's Pieces robbed candy
Dude,
corn.
Reese's Pieces are probably the best candy ever made.
That's the problem. Candy corn can't beat them. They just got that peanut buttery, chewy.
That's the
chocolate.
problem.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Can't fix it.
You go into a pitch meeting.
Can't fix it, join them.
Fix your marketing problem here.
Can't beat them, join them.
All right.
You know, they should coat the candy corn in peanut butter and chocolate.
They got to have that by now.
Diabetes
Just
in a drop.
pure sugar taffy cone.
Reese's Pieces are about as good as jalapeno Cheetos.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're kind of in that same sort of like
Can't stop, won't stop.
Scratch that back of your taste buds.
You can't stop. I can't even buy them anymore. Not that I ever bought a lot of them before,
It's like
but
white cheddar Cheez-Its.
I know you can't compare those two.
White cheddar Cheez-Its?
To jalapeno Cheetos?
It's got that sharp cheddar bite though.
Are we a sponsor?
Yeah, but you can stop. You can stop
You
that.
can stop if you
Speak
want to.
for yourself.
The dangerous thing about the Cheetos is you can lie to yourself and be like, I'll just suck on them. That's what
There
I
you go.
tell
I'll
myself.
spit out the styrofoam pieces.
I'll just like suck on it. I'll just eat like maybe 10, 15 at the most. And then by the end, you're just popping them in.
I think Cheetos have a good tactic going too, because like once you get those fingers covered in the powder, it's an effort to stop eating. Because you're like, well, if I take the time to lick my finger clean, then do I want to stop? Because I'm just going to get back
That's
in
my
there.
favorite
Might
part.
as well just finish the bag.
My favorite part is just using my teeth to just scrape the skin of my fingers.
Oh,
and
the
then it creates
filament.
like this. Then it creates a line of cheese I can use all day.
All right.
I just flap my little
all right.
tongue against the.
You had to ruin it.
Teeth.
You had to ruin it, didn't you?
All right. Well, I've got a treat for you guys if you're ready. It's a story treat.
Let's hear it.
This is about a Halloween decoration to a degree. Pretty creepy story. Kind of a sad story.
Oh yeah, this is a really great but disturbing.
Yeah, this story takes place in our hometown, which is, in my mind, the quintessential Halloween hometown.
Canal, Fulton, Ohio.
A lot of Victorian houses, brick streets.
It's a real life Dairy Maine.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Canal running through it.
So this story happens right around dusk one Halloween when an officer was dispatched to a house on the corner. It's the kind of house with a reputation. Decorations on the porch were elaborate that year. One of them, however, wasn't meant to be decoration at all. It's a very sad kind of story.
Yeah.
But it points to something I'm really interested in, which are pocket areas of phenomena. And this seems to be in a corner of a neighborhood where a lot of things happen in our hometown. The story comes to us from Josh, and this happened in Canal, Fulton, Ohio, Halloween. So to pre-warn,
This story deals with some dark stuff. I'm a police officer in a small town. There is an intersection of two roads, and the houses that sit on the four corner lots of those roads seem to collect dark stories. It would take too long to tell all the stories about these houses, but one particular story takes place on Halloween a couple of years ago. The town I work in still does trick-or-treat on Halloween each year. And on this year, trick-or-treat was going to start in half an hour, and the department was getting ready to deal with all the festivities. We then received a call that no one likes to deal with. There had been a suicide in one of the houses on that intersection. When we arrived on scene, we located the victim on the front porch bench, seated amongst her Halloween decorations. I hate to say fortunately, but fortunately, a family member had found her before trick-or-treat started, or else some poor trick-or-treater would have stumbled across her. Now here is where the story gets weird. I had recently been in this house for another death. The Halloween victim had just moved in recently. The previous owner of the house had died suddenly, for no apparent reason, 6 months earlier. She was a middle-aged woman with no apparent health issues. She had been watching TV with her daughter. The daughter left for the night with her mom laying on the couch. She returned in the morning and found her mom in the exact same spot, dead. No exact medical reason could be determined for her death. One woman died in the living room of the house, the other on the front porch, but the location of the bodies was only separated by one wall. The deaths occurred 6 months and mere inches apart. That would be haunting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super unsettling.
So had he been at the previous scene then?
Yeah.
Where was this?
Canal Fulton.
I know, but where?
I could tell you off camera or off the record,
Oh, okay.
but off record, it's do you remember?
Yeah.
So it's back there. There's
Okay.
apparently
Dude,
like
there's a lot of stuff that happened back there.
yeah.
That was interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't he say that there was other stuff that happened back
Yeah,
there?
he said there's
I
a
knew
lot.
people that lived back there, and it was just always kind of like a weird area, I thought.
Weird vibe.
Yeah. Weird vibe.
It's weird too because it almost feels like a disjointed limb of town. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of off one of the main roads, but just it kind of starts to go off into the country a bit on that stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting energy out there. I know a couple people that lived out there, and there's been some dark stuff that I'm familiar with. But I'd like to hear more stories, Josh, from that area. It's always interesting when you have groupings of events that occur in a tight area of a town.
There's some energy, some gravity there.
Yeah, very sad. I mean, thank God somebody found her before trick or treat. What a weird place to.
You hear stories about where that's happened before, where someone thinks it's a Halloween decoration, and so they don't bother to check on the person. Like, for instance, a suicide hanging from a tree. There was an account of that like years back.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that story. It's one of those kind of like, sounds like urban legend type things, but very unsettling.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I know where this is so I can avoid buying a home.
Oh, we have friends that live there.
I do have friends on
Should
that
we
street.
warn
You're
them?
thinking about buying a home?
Well, yeah, eventually. Probably not there, but in town. I would love to have a home in right downtown Canal Fulton, or just with overlooking downtown. You know,
I just had this visual of you like walking outside with a white picket fence, like waving at me.
I don't plan on having a white picket fence, but
You know, I just think that, yeah. I just
Hi,
think
John.
that would be fun.
welcome home.
With your dog, your little dog that you carry outside.
I
with
will
you.
not have a little dog. It'll be a
And you have a
mid-sized dog.
lawnmower that you're pushing and you wave with the dog hand. Small little like chihuahua or something.
I'll make that a reality soon. But thank you, Josh. Always appreciate your stories. He's got a really good Canal monster story.
Yeah, he's submitted a few, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him too. I don't know if he sees this episode. I saw him at the grocery store in town, which I'm rarely in, but I saw him, and it was one of those like, I know that's Josh, and he probably knows that I'm me. Should I go say hello? And I didn't go say hi, but I didn't want to invade his space at the grocery store, but I probably should have said hello.
Well, now he'll know.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah. Building the lore of our small town.
Yes.
The strangeness that resides here.
It's your quintessential small town.
Exactly. Battling ice cream shops and
By the way, the
clowns in the sewer.
cool B-roll shots during the stories are from our hometown. So these little scenic Halloween scapes are from these streets we walk.
That's right. Come visit.
Okay. What is next? You want to do one of yours, Jer?
I can.
Jeremy.
Hi.
Scare me, Jeremy. Do you
Hey.
want to do a story?
Sure.
Which one would you like to do? I know you brought a couple for us from
I
our
did.
listeners.
Yeah.
Let's do the waiting to be.
Waiting for Consecration?
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, hold that thought.
All right.
We are going to move to a really excellent, unique story that came to us from Cathy. So this next one takes place in another perfect Halloween location, an old home in Salem, Massachusetts, by the sea.
See, matey.
Yar. And as young Cathy's trying to sleep on Halloween, some visitors come romping through her home. They're sort of a work friend of her grandfather's, but not the kind you can get to leave easily. This happened around 1967 in Salem, Massachusetts. This is called Waiting for Consecration.
I've wanted to share this story for many years, but until now, I always thought I was a bit different. When I was a kid, we lived in Salem, Massachusetts with my parents, grandparents, 2 aunts, and a great uncle who was a Catholic priest. It was a beautiful old home right on the ocean. It had long wooden hallways and creaky wooden stairs. I was around 7 years old at the time of this occurrence. This activity happened more than once, but it was on Halloween of 1967 when this particular experience took place. I remember it because we had gotten home from trick-or-treating, but sent to bed soon after. My brother and I shared twin beds in a bedroom at the top of the stairs. We were used to hearing people coming up and down the steps. When I was awake, I could see them come past the doorway, and I could always tell who it was. On this night, I was having a hard time falling asleep. I kept hearing whispering in the hallway. Then I would hear someone coming up those creaky stairs, sometimes stopping by the door as if they were checking in on us. However, when this happened, I saw that no one was there. Was I dreaming? Was I in a candy-induced delusion? This kept happening to the point that every time I heard the noises, I would jump out of bed and run to the door, opening it. And again, no one would be there. I wasn't really scared at the moment. I was just trying to figure out what was going on. After a few hours of this strange activity, I once again heard the creaking of the stairs. Once again, I raced to the door and flew into the hallway, bound and determined to find out who or what was making these noises. This time, however, there was a person there. It was my grandma. She looked at me, startled that I was still up. As she lovingly scolded me and walked me back to bed, I asked her, "Grandma, why do I keep hearing people talking outside the door and going up and down the stairs?" She smiled. She was an awesome lady. She said, "Oh, your grandfather has some company tonight. They'll be gone tomorrow." For some reason, this comforted me, and before I knew it, I fell asleep. It wasn't until a few years later, when I was a teenager, that I found out what really happened. My family had moved to Wisconsin, but we would go out to visit my grandparents regularly. When I was about 14 years old, I finally decided to ask my grandma about that night. I was kind of hesitant to ask because I thought it might have all been a dream. Well, when I asked her, she got the strangest look on her face and said, "You remember that?" She said, "Well, I guess you have the gift too." Here was what happened on that Halloween night. My grandfather was a mason, and he had engraved and carved on gravestones. He did beautiful work. He also brought urns home with him. He would carve on those in the evening. They all contained human remains, and when the urns were in the house, we treated them with the utmost respect. Grandma said, that particular night, Grandpa had brought 7 urns home. Quite a few, I guess. She said that whenever he had them, she and my aunts would hear people talking, whispering, and walking around the house. It was always the loudest, around those old creaky stairs. Apparently, only some of the women in the family had this sensitivity. I have always had experiences on and off throughout my life, but it's not frequent. I know that I was scared of it as a kid. What kid wouldn't be? But now I think, maybe they were just entities, just waiting for the remains to be consecrated and buried. Maybe, just maybe, some of them were gentle souls, just checking in on the kids. As I said, there were multiple times that this happened in that house. But that Halloween night was intense, and I'm sure the spooks and frights of the evening only added to the experience. And by the way, my Uncle Jim, the priest, would say Mass every day in Latin. It was the 1960s. But he would always say a prayer for these souls before Grandpa left the house with him. I hope this was interesting and maybe a bit creepy. Thanks for letting me tell my story.
Ah, yes.
Creepy.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about taking your work home with you.
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba.
Interesting.
That's an interesting idea of like, you imagine bringing home remains of people all the time to carve on the, the container that's holding their remains.
It presents some interesting questions about what happens after you die.
Yeah.
Especially because it's like, are you attached to your remains?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they just haven't figured out where else to go next.
Yeah.
I think it's a variety, yeah.
It's a grab bag.
It's a grab bag. I mean, one of the stories that I always loved that I heard way back when, and again, it was another Art Bell Ghost to Ghost from the 90s, but a caller had come in and it was about basically their boy who kept talking about this man that would fly into his window at night. And then, and he said he would come and he would take the boy to a box underground where he lived. And then they eventually found the name of this man, which is a very unique name for, it was like Schlabberbaster or whatever his last name was.
Alfred Schlabberbaster.
But they found his grave like across the street in the graveyard. And so the idea was that he had, for some reason, was still attached to his remains in the casket, but he would leave at night and visit this boy and then take the boy or his spirit to visit him in the grave. Yeah, it makes you wonder about how long, like anything, I think there's transition periods for different reasons. People are stuck at different points. But this story definitely presents that question, like how attached is someone to that box of powder, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully not too attached.
I wonder if they know that's what is in the box sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, is there a willful self-delusion about what's occurring, and that's part of the reason why they're stuck?
Well, when I hear about near-death experiences from people, it seems like a lot of the time, it takes them a long time to register the body as being theirs.
Yeah, right.
They look at it and they're just completely not attached to it at all.
Completely
just
disassociated from it.
Yeah. Which is weird, I think you would.
It makes sense as a mechanism for leaving this plane that you would want that sort of detachment in order to move on. So maybe that's the beginning of the process of moving on, is having a detachment from
there
that.
Must be some attachment to it still, but people are following their urns around.
Right. Yeah. Well, again, I think it's levels for different people.
A lot of people too, I think when they die, they're just so, especially in the West, people are just so detached from the idea of death.
Mm-hmm.
They don't ever think about it, and then it happens, and it's they're not registering that it happened to them.
Yeah.
They don't think about what comes after death. They've just never thought about it. So then when it happens,
or pushed it away when they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So they don't have any real ability to make a smooth train. Oh, I died. They're just,
right.
They don't, a lot of them probably don't think that anything exists after death, so they couldn't have died.
Yeah. Also, the suddenness of it. We had a speed pipe we'll be doing on a future episode just come in the other day, but it was about this girl's mom was a first responder, and she responded to this fatality on the side of the road. Apparently, this guy had gotten in a fight with his girlfriend. She was driving the truck home, and he was like in the bed of the truck, and he like went to say something to her and fell out of the bed of the truck, hit his head, died. But her mom, who's a first responder, like had an impression from the spirit of this guy, went over her body and followed her home. But basically the first communication that this guy gave to this first responder was, I really messed up this time. Like the suddenness of like going over to lean over drunk outside of, around the corner of the bed of the truck and then falling out, like a simple mistake. Then suddenly you're on the other end of the veil or whatever, on the other edge of this reality.
He wouldn't leave her alone because he wanted to make sure that his wife wasn't going to hurt herself.
Right. We'll do that one down the road, but it just reminds me of like the sudden change.
It has a happy ending. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's that sudden change, I think, that gets people stuck sometimes. I mean, I'm not an expert on it.
Like
obviously,
anything, in any kind of shock.
No, that makes sense though.
It's just like in life.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a shock and you're all of a sudden, like when I fell in the fire that one night,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I was out of the fire. My hand was like dripping skin, and it was in an instant, and I was just in a different world all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah.
how did that happen? How am I here now? And I wasn't drunk. It was just a bizarre like shock. And then you're just all of a sudden I'm like on the way to the hospital holding my hand out the window.
Yeah, death is the ultimate shock.
Yeah.
You're literally not in your body anymore.
Yeah, ultimate transition, except for birth.
Anywho, we're all alive at this very moment. And I'm going to keep that in the forefront of my mind as it gets sad with some of these stories.
Chris has a panic attack on the show.
Shut it down!
Where's my Care Bear?
Chris alarm number 5.
Chris alarm number 5.
We've got a code Chris.
Well, Jeremy, you're on the hot seat now, my friend.
Speaking of hot seat,
Jeremy, scare me. You're up to the plate.
fill another pizza beverage for myself.
Pizza.
Speaking of hot seat and life and death, we're about to dive into an experience that may have saved a life.
Ooh.
This comes from Viktória. It's a different kind of, she comes from a different kind of Halloween. This took place a day or two after Halloween in Slovakia.
Oh, awesome.
Hi, Belieful. I'm a longtime fan of the podcast, and listening to you guys has helped me through many a boring shift at work. So I want to thank you for the amazing job y'all are doing. Keep it up. I'm Viktória. I come from a small Eastern European village, so if my English isn't perfect, I apologize. For some backstory, the village I live in is over 700 years old, and I live on the oldest street of this quaint little place. My house is over 140 years old. It has been inhabited by all family members of mine, as far as I know, some distant, some closer, but I am the 4th generation in this house. I'm used to certain odd things that happen in old houses, like the noise of a settling mud house and creaky floorboards. However, in my home, I consider other weird stuff just as normal by now. The light turning on and off has been a relatively regular occurrence, and hearing footsteps at night makes it feel like a more normal night than when the house is completely quiet. Even as a child, I had seen shadow figures regularly come and go out of my room and down the narrow hallway between the bedrooms. Those visions, though, are more so things I dream about now as an adult, instead of seeing them while awake. Nevertheless, I wanted to tell this specific story that happened around Halloween. Maybe the most out there story I have. Our Halloween is a bit different. It's called Souls Day, where we visit the cemeteries together and light candles and bring flowers to the deceased to remember them and pray for them so they can reach heaven. Essentially, it's a very spiritually charged time of year, like in so many other places. As a young teenager, I was left alone on such an evening after sundown, and a cold chill had settled in over the village. It was a very cold October and November that year. I remember our old gas-powered heaters already had to be on in the house. We were very aware of what setting they were on, since they could be somewhat fickle and prone to accidents. As my parents left the home, I stayed behind with only my dog in the house, a small Shih Tzu named Luna. I was always a bit more of a cautious person, so I would leave one earbud out of my ear when listening to music or a movie home alone. However, for whatever reason, this time, I didn't. I was blasting music on full volume in my ears and wasn't paying much attention to my surroundings. After some time, I noticed my dog looking very tense toward the open door of my room. It wasn't that unusual. As I said, this house is a bit weird, and I do believe in spirits and hauntings, but still, it creeped me out. I started calling out to her, but she was ignoring me. I tensed up a bit and took out one of my earbuds, only to hear a very loud noise. I couldn't identify it at first, but after a few seconds of listening, all frozen up, I realized it sounded like the old window shutters from the living room were being forcefully banged on and tugged around up and down, like someone was trying to get them off of the windows so they could break in. I was a teenage girl, so obviously I was shaken. I was all tensed up and didn't want to move from my spot or even blink. My dog, however, who had been frozen in place as well, suddenly jumped up and ran out of my room. As much as I was scared, I couldn't let anything happen to my dog if someone was really breaking in. So in my panic, I grabbed the fork from my plate that I'd been too lazy to take to the kitchen hours ago as my weapon of choice and slowly stepped out of the room to go after her. Walking out, I noticed a red light coming from the living room and realized I needed to grab my dog, who by now was barking at the window in that same room. That's when I saw flames coming out of the gas heater and crawling up the white wall behind it. I dropped my stupid fork, grabbed my dog under my arm, and ran out in socks to alert my neighbors, who also happened to be my grandpa, that there was a fire in the living room. My grandparents quickly got up and came over to my house with a phone, ready to call the firemen if necessary. However, in the brief minute or two it took them to get over to my place, there were absolutely no flames, and the heater was down on the lowest setting. The only indicator that there had ever been flames was the black char marks on the white wall. I felt like a crazy person. Then suddenly I realized, I hadn't even noticed it in my panic, but the shutters were completely quiet. They had been ever since I got to the living room to find the flames, as if there had never been any noise from the beginning. Nobody was hurt, luckily, and no major repair was needed, just a bit of paint. But I can't help but believe that maybe, around that heavily spiritually charged time of year, that the spirits of the house, my deceased family, gathered the power to alert me to a danger that could have gotten ugly if things had gone a bit different. It's up to everyone whether they believe my story or not, but this conclusion is something I have believed for years now in this unusual and old place.
Interesting.
So was she rescued by a potential fire?
By her family members from the past? Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
In my opinion.
So the flames were coming from the heater?
Yeah.
But later the heater, it looked like it was down to the lowest setting and there wasn't any damage to the actual heater.
Right.
Weird. So the flames themselves seem odd.
It sounded like they got up high enough to lick the walls, which may have alerted whatever spiritual fire alarm was in there, whatever, supportive force, maybe protecting her. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting to think, like, you always hear about stories of, ancestors or angels or ghostly presences that, like, will warn someone to help them.
Yeah.
But what if they're just like a very overactive presence? Maybe there wasn't a problem, but they're like, hey, just in case. You know what I mean?
Oh, like they're overly worried?
Yeah. Like maybe nothing would have happened anyway. It's just kind of interesting. Like you think ghosts are kind of omniscient at times or spirits or whatever. When there's, a catastrophe where they're saved from that, you're like, oh, it's because they know the future. They know what's happening.
Yeah.
But they could, just like we were saying, be very real in the sense, really experiencing the world like we are in a way.
It could get it wrong.
It could get it wrong, but they just happen to be outside and hanging out in the living room. So they notice the fire and they're like, hey.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure if the flames were licking the wall, it's good that she was notified.
Yeah.
Because it definitely could have been very bad.
Anyway, interesting food for thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yes. All the way from Slovakia, too.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
cool.
Cheers, Viktória. Thank you.
Here's to you and your family.
That's right.
Cool. Well, I think we have one more tale in the trick-or-treat bag.
Yeah. Halloween Hatman.
Yeah, this last story, Jared, this is another one you brought.
Yeah, this is
classic Halloween.
Kind of saying at the beginning of the episode, like, those things that happen when you're a kid and you're not quite sure as time goes on if that was real, if other people experienced it. But at the time, it's very real and very strange, and it can kind of haunt you and kind of grow into this kind of small town nostalgic backyard legend. And that's kind of what the story is, if that makes sense. Like it's, well, I'll just let you guys decide. But it's that feeling of what was behind this, how much weight is there to the experience in a real way versus what we've all felt as kids, and that kind of like Losers Club type of Stephen King energy. So with that, this is called Halloween Hatman, and this comes from Melissa Flores. This happened about 20 years ago, maybe, in Laredo, Texas. So this happened on Halloween night. I'm real bad with dates, but I'm 29 now, and this must have happened when I was probably around 9, 10, or 11 years old. That year, my parents were hosting a Halloween party in our backyard, something we never did. We usually were always out trick-or-treating. The party was a blast. Grown-ups and kids, we were all having a great time. I remember my brother and I even made a haunted house out of a shed my dad had. It was just a walk in and out kind of thing, but all the kids on the block seemed to love it. We filled it with all my dolls and with fake blood, and that seemed to do the trick. It's amazing how much fun we could have as kids with just a few things we had and our creativity. Good times. I remember that shed was towards the right log fence of my house, and us kids were all playing, going in and out of the shed, and running around about the area. Meanwhile, all the parents chatted it up with some alcoholic beverages toward the other side of the yard. Halloween music was playing, and tiki sticks were firelit. All was good and dandy, when all of a sudden, I can't remember if it was me or another kid, but one of us yelled with a pointed finger towards the top of the log fence about something strange passing by. I can't remember if the word ghost was used, or tall man, or head. What I do remember is that all of us saw a dark, black shape of a head with a bowler hat on, moving back and forth. Pacing, it seemed like, from one end of the fence to the other, but from my neighbor's side. The neighbor's side of the yard was completely pitch black, but somehow we were able to distinguish this black entity from the darkness. Maybe it stood out because of what many say with shadow people encounters. It was blacker than black. Even though we could not see any facial features, we somehow knew that this entity or man was looking at us as he or it paced back and forth. What us kids found most odd, though, was that the head rose higher than the log fence. We could see its neck above the top, and that fence stood about 7 or 8 feet high, so whoever or whatever it was had to be extremely tall, and since it was moving smoothly from one end of the fence to the other, it most likely wasn't standing on anything to increase its height. This pacing went on maybe 3 minutes. All of us kids, about maybe 10 to 12 of us, pointed and remarked with astonishment, while all the adults turned and laughed as we went on about this thing behind the fence. The adults cheered to it as if they thought it was a good Halloween prank by my neighbor and loved the entertainment it appeared to give the children. The next day, when beer cans and candy wrappers littered the lawn, my mom thought it would be a good idea to go thank my neighbor for the, quote, prank that they had played on us at the party the night before, even though my brother and I kept reminding her of how weird that thing was. Our neighbor Carol was this grown woman, probably in her late 50s, who was an empty nester, so she enjoyed hosting all the kids in the block at her cottage-like home with her wholesome cooking, her fluffy 2 cats, all the VHS Disney movies you could think of, the most beautiful magical garden, and all kinds of creative games she could come up with. Carol reminded me of the perfect granny for all us kids on the block, and there was not a day during my childhood that I didn't ask my parents to go to her house when she lived there. It's for this reason that my mom thought she had tried to get us kids to have more fun with some kind of costume or prop the previous night from her side of the fence. I can still see my mom walking through the crunchy orange and yellow leaves, still smiling about the prank from the night before, as she hopped over a log that divided our yard from Carol's. My brother and I waited on the porch rocking chairs for her, when not just a minute later, my mom returned, but with the opposite look on her face as she approached. Her eyes wide open, staring off into a faraway nothingness, perhaps to the replaying memory of the man pacing back and forth last night. My brother and I stopped our rocking and jumped up to ask my mom what was wrong. Out of all my years on this earth, knowing my mom, I had not and still have not seen such a confused, dazed, scared and puzzled look on my mom's face. My mom, being a devout Catholic, has never believed in ghosts or aliens or anything paranormal of that sort, which is why maybe this could explain the look on her face. As my mom explains it, she had rang the doorbell with a wide smile as she waited for Carol to open her heavy mahogany door. The door opened, and there was Carol greeting my mom with a pleasant smile herself, asking what brought my mom to her doorstop this autumn morning.
Carol, I just wanted to thank you for the show that you put on for the kids last night from your yard. The kids were really spooked. It was a great prank.
My mom remarked. Carol's smile dropped as my mom said this, and quickly her brows scrunched towards one another in a worried look, one that my mom had never seen, as Carol was always so cheerful and bright, with not a worry in her mind.
Dear?
Carol began.
I wasn't home at all last night. I was away the whole day.
I don't know what happened after that was said. My mom only told me that. I can only imagine the worry on Carol's mind. Was there an intruder? And if so, why would he entertain us on the fence with his pacing? Why couldn't we see his face? Why was he so tall? And most of all, why the bowler hat? Years have passed, and I don't know if this is scary or as odd as I and all of us at the time remember it. But for me, I will never forget it. Most of all, though, why was my mom, a devout Catholic and paranormal non-believer, so worried and puzzled by it? Thanks so much, guys. I'll send more. Lots of love. Melissa.
Interesting.
Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of, it's not the same, but it reminds me of the gorilla suit.
Oh, yeah. An unexpected sort of intruder that at first people think is part of the party.
Yeah.
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 That eerie, like, post-party creeping in your mind of what was that?
Yeah. I mean, if it is something paranormal, I mean, the Hatman character, man, has been coming up a lot lately in stories that have been coming in. We're going to be doing an episode coming up with some really, I feel like, interesting connections to things we hadn't considered before. We talked about recently the little girl with the silhouette man with the hat, that camping story we had with the really dark sort of physical wounds that occurred after this.
Oh, yeah. Anna?
Oh, yeah. Alana, where they were trying to lure her into the woods.
She believed she'd been abducted.
Yeah. I have another story with the same group, the same duo.
Hatman and
little girl that came to us about these entities existing in this boy's closet, and his father actually being the one to report the story, and what he discovered after his son was telling him this. And they had just kind of shrugged it off for a while until some pretty intense evidence was discovered. But really, really bizarre. But anyways, just to say, if there's going to be something that's walking around a backyard at nighttime, something that, you know, has a power to manifest, maybe it is this, I mean, who knows? Or was it, you know, a weird neighbor who just wanted to get his kicks by scaring the kids for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Definitely an interesting visual.
On stilts or something, maybe.
That's true. It was tall and very glidey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, as Melissa admits, she doesn't know what it was, and that just kind of lingering. But that's kind of the feeling we want going into this Halloween, guys, right? We just want that feeling of what is real, what could be natural, and what could be supernatural.
Open the mind like you open the door.
Yeah. Keep your eyes on those trick-or-treat bags. Those neighbors with the costumes. Are they in costume?
The shadows in the woods.
Or is there something lurking between?
That is the question. Go find out. Report back.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Thanks for spending some time with us in the hole this Halloween.
Yeah.
We've enjoyed you.
Hope we creeped you out just enough for fun and not for true terror, because we don't want to feed the fear eaters.
That's right.
That's right. We want to starve those ghouls.
Starve them.
Hey there. We have a lot of people to thank, and it's been a long time coming.
That's right, Chris. We have a lot of patient dogman whisperers out there, as well as shadow people of interest, not to mention Skywheel Riders.
Skywheel Rider! Skywheel Rider!
Mm-hmm.
So let's get some of those names up now. And if you haven't heard your name yet, you hang on.
Yes.
You hang here in the hole, because we are dedicated to getting these names finally read.
Yeah.
We'll have a little update after the thank yous on the future of the thank yous and their metamorphosis.
Oh, yeah. Fun stuff coming.
So stay tuned after the thank yous for that bit of news. To you, Chris.
Thanks, Jeremy. Back in the studio. We're in the same room, by the way. Yes, today we're going to start with our first Skywheel Rider, our first most generous of generositors. We have Jennifer Nichols.
Jennifer Nichols. Ride that whale.
A lady so sweet, she smells of bread.
Yes!
Like sweet bread. Like the Nichols Bakery.
Nichols Bakery.
It's around here anyway. I don't know if that's
a very inside joke.
Is it? That's not a national chain?
Nichols?
Nichols Bakery? Anyway, you are soft and wonderful and smell sweet. And we love you. Thank you for being in the hole with us.
Thank you so much, seriously, for that generous support.
By the way, John is not here for the thank yous today, but he has sworn an affidavit that he agrees with everything we say here in our joy for you.
He is thankful, and his heart is happy because you're here.
So thank you so much, Jennifer.
Next Skywheel Rider, Chris, who is that?
Kelly Newton
Kelly Newton.
of the Newtonian Kellys.
Wow.
It is physically impossible for me to love you more than I do right now.
Oh.
That's a science joke.
It's a science pun.
It's a science pun. Nothing more fun than a science pun.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
I've always said. Yes, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It means a lot.
Freaking Skywheel Riders. You guys do it to us. I don't know what that means. You
Weird.
do it to us.
That sounds odd.
You guys rock.
Who we got next year?
A man made of two different materials that are useful and valuable, I guess. Evan Leatherwood.
Yes.
Hello, my friend.
Nice.
Thank you so much for your generous and, long-standing support.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we've said your name before, but you are one of those on the list who have been patiently waiting, and we seriously thank you.
Yeah. You have a most medieval name in the best kind of way. It's
Leatherwood?
a hero's name on a journey. You want that as your druid warrior, or I don't know.
Sure.
I guess it would be more of a blacksmith, maybe a gnome.
This sounds like like some sort of smith. Leatherwood.
I like it. Smithing things up in the hole. Thanks for being here.
All right. Thank you so much, Evan.
Oh, next.
Yeah, for our final Skywell writer of the evening is Ed Riddle.
Hello.
A man full of mystery and full of generosity.
I've got a riddle. Who is wonderful and is named Ed?
Ed Riddle.
Ed Riddle. Thank you for your patronage. That goes a long way in the hole. So we really
Seriously.
appreciate it. Skywell Rider.
Skywell Rider. Skywell Rider.
All right. For everyone else, we've got quite the list today of thank yous to spread throughout the avenues and alleyways of the hole.
That's right. Let's get that water full of names going, Chris.
I apologize ahead of time for the puns and the poor jokes.
The puns and the fun.
Here we go.
Pull up a chair and tap the keg and pour a drink for Peter Beer.
Ooh.
A Dogman Whisperer.
Welcome in, Peter. Are you a Labatt man or a
Labatt man.
core tapping the Rockies fella or
Oh, Labatt's.
an artisan sort of crafted man?
Probably better beer than we drink. Thank you, Peter. Thanks for being a Dogman Whisperer.
Yes.
Give him a howl. Hey, man. It's Steve Heyman. Wow. Hey, man.
Hi, Steve. Welcome in. Thank you for joining the hole.
Thanks for being a Dogman Whisperer. Cheers to you.
All right, next up we have Fangirl.
Fangirl.
All right, we'll take them. Come on in.
It's like all the fangirls we can get.
We got a lot of room in here.
Thank you for whispering to those dogmen.
Thank you for joining. We really appreciate it.
We do.
All right, next up we have Lisa Michel Brady.
Oh, that's an interesting name.
I like it a lot.
Michel. Lisa.
Yes. Which sister are you? Middle sister, the Marcia?
No, it's not Marcia. It's Michel. Oh, Brady.
Like the bunch.
Okay. I tanked that one.
Well, you fit right in the Bleefhold family tree, so thank you for joining.
Curtis Jackson. Another Dogman Whisperer. Thank you.
Got nothing for Curtis Jackson.
Curtis Jackson. Always in the action. Curtis Jackson.
It's an offer and we'll take it.
That's right.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks, brother. Jordans Johnson.
Hi, guys.
Jordan's Johnson.
That's right. Jordans? What?
That sounds like a possessive.
Well, there's an S on the end of Jordan, but maybe that's a typo.
I like Jordan's Johnson. Wait a minute. Maybe that's, that could be something else.
I see what you're saying.
Ah.
Was that a trick?
Either way, welcome in, Jordan's.
Yes.
We appreciate
Thank you for being here, Mr. or Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Whoever you are. Thank you for being a Dogman Whisperer.
All right, next up we have in parentheses.
Oh, Avari Nobles.
Avery Nobles.
Avery Nobles sounds better than
You are-
Avery Nobles.
You're more noble than most because you are a member of the whole. We appreciate you.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Are they just a regular...
A Dogman Whisperer. These are all Dogman Whisperers.
Oh, all right. Welcome in.
We're done with the Black Eyed Cool Kids, Chris.
Wait, so does everybody gets a special cheer?
What, did everyone... Well, we might just kind of like
Like once in a while?
give the Dogmen a break and let them howl kind of more intermittently.
Okay.
However you want to do it, John, since you're putting those in. Who we have next here? Patrick Yoshida.
Ooh.
Domo Origato.
I don't know that Japanese name, but I like
like it,
the
right?
sound of it.
Yoshida.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful name. It rolls off the tongue, Patrick.
Let's see. Yoshida. Name derivation.
You Googling?
Japanese.
Hey!
All right. Welcome in, sir.
Yeah.
Ohio.
Oh, hello.
That's where we live, and it's also hello
I
to
thought
you.
you were saying he's from Ohio.
I think that's accurate.
Thank you, Patrick. Seriously. Thank
Yes.
you for being
I
awesome.
hope we can come visit you sometime.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Quick hop on the train.
Quick hop on the train, underwater train. All right. Next up, we have Sakura V.
Sakura V. Hi.
Hello.
It's an interesting name as well.
Hello.
Thank you for being a Dogman Whisperer.
Sounds like a future virus. Sakura V.
Sure. I'm sure they would appreciate that.
Or a vampire. I don't
Your
know.
name sounds like a virus, but the best kind of virus.
Yes.
The virus of our hearts.
A vampire virus in our
Slowly
hearts.
eating away at our love. We enjoy it. Thank you to be
Welcome
here. Thank you to be here. Jenny Robinson. Hi.
All right.
Of the Robinson clan.
Classic name.
Beautiful name.
Classic gal. Classy lady.
Jenny with an I.
Yes. Thank you, Jenny, for joining the hole. We
you make
appreciate
me a
you.
Jeremy with a smile.
Smile hole. That's your mouth.
Smile. Smile hole. I was just pronouncing it to rhyme
All
with
right.
Jenny. Anyway.
Next up, we have very simply Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Welcome in, Jimbo. We
Cool,
appreciate
clean,
you.
calm, simple. Jimmy.
Yeah. Keep it tight. Keep it locked down.
Jimmy. Thanks. Thanks, brother.
All right, after Jimmy, we have a little more seductive, a little more exotic, Ariana Valencia.
Valencia.
Welcome into the hole. You are most welcome here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to be here.
All right, next up we have Kyle Pecoraro.
Pecoraro.
Kyle Pecoraro.
Kyle Pecoraro.
That's an accidental spoonerism. Kyle
Pecoraro.
Pecoraro. That's a great
Anyway.
name. It needs to be in a nursery rhyme. Kyle Pecoraro had a guy in
Yes.
Went to the
Barrow.
The Barrow.
The Barrow Downs. I don't know. That's really bad. I apologize.
Let's try that again.
Kyle Pecoraro made a friend in Dulcinero. Is that a place?
It's hard to rhyme Pecanero.
Anyway, we appreciate you're here. That's all that matters. You made a friend in the hole.
You made a couple friends.
Yes.
Maybe 3.
Yes.
Thank you, Kyle.
Ooh, the next one is a very curious name we have in the hole with us.
Sarah.
Sarah Curious Sparrow. Welcome into the hole.
That's a pretty name.
I don't know what do the parentheses mean. Does that mean like anonymous?
That is a great question.
Hopefully not.
I hope it doesn't mean anonymous. I think it might mean maybe a username. I'm not sure. This is a weird system that I built to extrapolate all the names from Patreon and our expansion. So if we have one wrong, definitely write us a hateful message.
Okay, no, we don't need that.
JK. They wouldn't do that.
Well, look out, Sarah Curious Sparrow, because next in the hole, right behind you, we have Catman.
That's right.
Catman is here.
That is so weird, man.
What Catman is doing right now, why he's here, but he is in the hole with us and we appreciate it.
Oh, I just put on a super weird movie last night called Cat People from the 70s.
Oh, did you?
You seen this? It's like
I've
a weird...
seen the thumbnail for it. I've never... It has, not Peter O'Toole. Who's the guy?
Cat People, 1982.
Who's the guy? I can picture him.
Malcolm McDowell.
That's right. Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
He's a kind of a strange man himself.
It's a sensual and violent horror tale.
Oh.
I haven't seen it enough to recommend it, but
there's one for Halloween.
Anyways, Catman. Maybe you should check it out. It might be up your alley since you are a cat man. But thank you so much.
All right, next up we have Amisha Egan.
Amisha Egan Begay.
Excellent.
Amisha Egan Begay.
Or Begay.
Yes.
Do not know exactly how to pronounce your name, but you are a sweet person who has sent us a fascinating letter, by the way.
Oh, really?
With some really interesting stories, and because it was in traditional snail mail, it has not made it into our listener archive. So
I haven't read it.
I think she sent some Southwest stories.
Oh, and to everyone who has sent stuff to the P.O. Box, thank you so much. We'll be giving you personal shout-outs eventually.
Yeah, that came in our P.O. Box. So
we love you.
Anyways, thank you so much, Amisha.
All right, next up for the win, we have Keenan Wynn.
That was clever.
Puts it right in the mouth.
What?
I don't know. Puts
No.
I mean the clue
he put the word in your mouth.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Keenan Wynn.
Thank you, Keenan. We really appreciate it.
Seriously.
It means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gabriella Paulson.
Ooh. Her name is Gabriella.
Her name is
Paulson. Gabriella.
Her name is Gabriella. That's a Fight Club joke if you're old like we are.
It's a really good joke.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriella. Thanks for being a dog lady whisperer.
That was Meatloaf, by the way, who played that role
We've
of
talked
Robert
about this
Paulson.
many times.
Yes, I made him a latte once at Starbucks in Texas.
You did. You're like famous now.
I'm like famous now.
You're
All right.
Meatloaf adjacent famous.
Next up, we have
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Nebelhex.
Nebelhex.
That's kind of cool. It's kind of like soft and warm and friendly, but also a little bitey at the end there with a hex.
Does that mean something?
I don't know, but I like it. I guess.
That's a band.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Pretty cool. I'll have to check that out.
Check it out. Nebelhex.
Nebelhex. Thank you, Nebelhex.
Spotify it.
Excellent.
I don't know if you're in the band or if you're just a fan, but either way, we're a fan of you. Thanks for being here.
All right, next up we have
Justin Kinman.
You stole it from me, but I'll let you do that.
He's a man and is also my kin because he just is in. Justin Kinman.
This is terrible, but also kind of good.
Thank you, Justin. Seriously.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for signing up to be a member. It really helps a lot. This is our entire livelihood.
Absolutely.
At least for Jeremy and I.
Yes.
So really appreciate all the support. It really feeds us and feeds our love to continue doing this thing in the hole with you guys, doing the research, making the stuff, and having these fascinating conversations with you. Hopefully you enjoy every moment with us here.
Yes.
Or at least most moments.
Like that one that we just had there.
Yes. That was a moment.
Brought to you by Chris. And I want to say real quick, thank you while we're on the mode of thank yous. Everyone who saw my post about Caleb and his fight, thank you for playing a role in getting that subscriber number over his goal. We made it, guys. We blew past his goal, and he was very, very excited.
And Caleb, if you're watching, keep it up, man.
Yeah, seriously. Future is yours.
That's right.
Keep rocking, man. this is the quick announcement about the future of thank yous, guys. So if you haven't noticed, we've fallen behind on the thank yous. They're hard to keep up with because they're kind of a bit of an extra piece of production, extra recording. And so we've been in discussions with one another about metamorphosizing, putting the thank yous through a new evolution and changing them. So what I'm announcing today is that anyone who's already signed up to get your name read on the show, whatever tier that applies to, if you signed up today and if you sign up, let's say up through the next release, when that drops, we're going to transition the thank yous to a couple different things. A YouTube scroll during the video will be visual instead of the calling out of the names, which is a lot of fun, which we might bring back, but at least till we figure out more of our back-end video editing process and all this and can buy more time for ourselves to work on the show, it'll be in hiatus. So it's going to transition to a video scroll with names while we do something fun on the screen. I don't know, John will probably dance maybe if we're lucky.
We'll figure it out. But the cool thing is you'll be immortalized in the video permanently, in perpetuity, forever on YouTube and Spotify.
Yes!
And there won't be any confusion about what your name actually is and how it's spelled. Yes, we will see it on the screen and we won't have a chance to mess it up for the time being. And we will also put the names of all current supporters on our website as well, with a link in the show notes.
Yeah, and as long as you're a member, as long as you stay a member, you will
continually see your name.
Yes, you'll continually see your name on each video of each episode. So
that's right.
Really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, putting your names up on screen is the least we could do for the continued support you guys have given us and allow the show to be here and exist in the way it does. So thank you once again. And again, anyone who's signed up previously and up through the release of the next episode, you guys will still hear your name read on the show over the next, handful of episodes until we run out of those names, and then we'll switch to the scroll. But again, we'll make another announcement about that. It's coming up. So thank you for your patience, everyone who's been waiting to hear your name, and thanks for freaking being here. You guys are awesome. And now let's wrap up the episode with John.
All right. Well,
have a great Halloween weekend.
Yeah, go get tricked or treated.
Yes.
And have fun.
Amen.
Taste the rainbow.
See ya.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time
on
Unbelievable.